All right, let's spill some more tea and the names of the conspirators of the Harem conspiracy. Watch the previous two videos if you want some more details about the actual conspiracy. This is literally just going to be talking about the conspirators and naming them and their occupations, because I do find it very interesting that we have kind of that much detail about these people. The main conspirator is going to be Ta, who is a minor wife of Ramses III. This picture is not necessarily of her. This is a wife, an unnamed wife of Ramses III from one of the tombs. But Ta herself wanted her son Pentawere to go on the throne rather than one of other Ramses III's sons, known as Ramses IV. She essentially enlisted a huge group of officials throughout the administration, as well as servants, to kind of deliver messages beyond the harem is not the right word, but group of women who were married to Ramses III and their sons and children. And she was able to convince essentially a ton of these different officials to go out with this twofold conspiracy, one killing Ramses III and then placing her son on the throne. Only part one of this conspiracy was successful. I will also say Pentawere is probably not the actual name of the prince, and it is probably a pseudonym to kind of hide his identity, because the name of a person is very important in ancient Egyptian lore, and this guy was trying to essentially be wiped from existence, and so they gave him a pseudonym, which is not actually his real name. The Judicial Papyrus of Turin doesn't necessarily have the court proceedings, but it lists all the defendants, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the main conspirators was a pantry chief named Pebek Kamen, and he was responsible for distributing the information, and I quote, "He had begun to bring out their word to their mothers and their brothers who were there, saying, 'Stir up the people, incite enmity in order to make a rebellion against their lord.'" So, some of the names of the conspirators are a butler named Mastasuria, the overseer of cattle named Pan Hai Bani, the overseer of the harem Panuk, and a clerk of the harem named Pendua. Since the harem had very restricted access, they actually sought to get the overseer of the king's treasury, Pa'eri, to obtain a pass that would essentially allow the conspirators to have access to the king in the harem. Those are only the conspirators that were named, but in total 28 people were executed, while 10 people, including Pentawere, the prince that was supposed to be put on the throne, were allowed to take their own lives, which is unfortunately a slightly better way to die, in accordance that the other 28 people were probably burned to death, which in the Egyptian sense, that is wiping your existence from the afterlife. Again, as I mentioned in a previous video, there was actually another trial where a further 4 people, including 2 judges, Pabesi and Mai, were accused and found guilty of cavorting with the women, and they had their noses and ears cut off. Unfortunately, we do not know any of the outcome of the women, and it is unclear if they were killed or if they were exiled or what essentially happened to them, because their names disappear from the record.